Hello, this is Critical Information Bureau coming from Hull, England. Eyong Akumbe speaking. We are the people that bring you the truth, nothing but the truth. Because the truth is what is going to set you free. We don't accept donations. Please make all your donations to your beloved interim government and also to your counties or LGAs. Now, I want to talk about a discussion which Chris Ano had with Eric Chinje last week. I know this is a little bit late, but I think it warrants some analysis. Now, before I start, I would like to make this following English phrase. If it quacks like a duck, it walks like a duck, it swims like a duck, and it looks like a duck, then it is a duck. Okay? So if some animal, they walk like duck fowl, it quack like duck fowl, it swim like duck fowl, and it look like a duck fowl, then you're not going to make mistake if you talk say that is a duck fowl. All right? So I had to go to Pidgin just to clarify this matter. All right? Now, Southern Cameroon had a border, a boundary, territorial boundary. Okay? It is not a fluke. It had a territorial boundary. And that territorial boundary, if you still have a problem, go and check it with the United Nations. That information is available. If you go to the internet and you type Southern Cameroon right now, you will see that it's clearly demarcated from the map of the Republic of Cameroon. So there is a clear boundary. Okay? Southern Cameroon had a government. A government. Foncha was the last prime minister of that government. They had their elections so to get new leaders. So they had a government with a leader of that government. Okay, Southern Cameroon had a House of Parliament. Southern Cameroon has a capital. The capital is Buea. We know that. It's a fact. I'm not making this up. So if you have all the institutions of a government, you've got to be a government. You can't say and a country. You can't have all the institutions, everything that a country needs, but you are not a country. Southern Cameroon is a country. So Mr. Eric Chinje, I don't know what is wrong with you, but there are times when I can understand that when you are living with La Republique and you are living under the control of Paul Biya, that you have to tread carefully and that you have to keep your head below the parapet. I understand that. So, but for the purpose of education of the Southern Cameroonians, we have to go against and contradict what you're saying. We have to, because if not, we'll be giving them the wrong information. So while you are covering your backside, because you are scared of Paul Biya, the dictator, you could also misinform the public. So what we are saying in this first part, what I'm saying in this first part is this. Since Southern Cameroon has all the instruments of a nation, then Southern Cameroon is a nation. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is Eric Chinje insisted that we only had one seat in the UN. And I know Chris Ano brought the idea of Darfur, of Southern Sudan, and that Southern Sudan did not have a seat at the United Nations. But this Eric Chinje was going crazy and I started arguing about it. I happen to have followed Southern Sudan closely, and I lived with some Southern Sudanese years ago in the 80s in England. And they were in immense battles with the people of Sudan, the Arab government of Sudan. The Arab government of Sudan the Arabs, of course, they were Muslims. They don't like the Southerners. They had a dangerous war for 20 years in which a lot of people were killed. It was a racial war, it was a tribal war, and it was a religious war. And it was George Bush that came and stopped that war. And the United Nations finally decided that they were going to separate the two people because they did not get along. Now remember, Southern Sudan did not even, it had never been a country. Southern Sudan, what you call Southern Sudan is today, they own the whole Sudan. That is their country. But at least today, because of the massacre, the United States and the United Nations decided to split that country into two. And now Southern Sudan has a seat in the United Nations. So having a seat in the United Nations is not a permanent situation. You can have a seat and you might not have a seat. Okay? So La République, as I said, some of the historians can correct me here. La République must have had a seat when they had their independence in the United Nations. They would have had a seat in the UN. But then there was a referendum and we had this federation. So the United Nations would have modified their record to say, well, we have a Federal Republic of Cameroon right now. We have West Cameroon and East Cameroon. So there would have been a seat in the UN now to deal with West Cameroon. Now we have United Republic of Cameroon. I think the United Nations again would have changed their record. My point here is that whatever you have in the United Nations is not permanent. It keeps changing depending on how how things progress. Okay, so the issue of you have a seat in the United Nations is not really relevant. All right. Secondly, the United States of America is aware of Southern Cameroon. They have told La République du Cameroon that Southern Cameroon needs autonomy. They have withdrawn their weapons and they've given Cameroon sanctions for carrying out human rights abuses to the people of Southern Cameroon. We are clear about that. One of the points that Eric Chinje also talked about was Cameroon. He said that he's not a Southern Cameroonian. He might as well be a Cameroonian as well, and he might as well be a West Cameroonian. So what he's trying to do is to throw some confusion into the mix. And this is clearly the strategy that La République is using in this particular situation. They are just saying, well, we used to be one in the days of German Cameroon, and therefore whatever has happened in between is irrelevant because we've just gone back to what we used to be. Now, the first thing I need to do here is to explain to everybody what German Cameroon was. Okay. Now, this is from Wikipedia. I'm not even thinking. I'm just reading from Wikipedia. Cameroon, the one with the K, was an African colony of the German Empire from 1884 to 1916. Okay, you can work out the period here. In the region of today's Republic of Cameroon. Now listen to that. Today's Republic of Cameroon, all right? Around that region. Cameroon included the northern parts of Gabon. This is very important when you want to go back to a certain situation. You need to go back completely. If you call yourself Cameroon, then that includes certain parts of Gabon, Congo, with the western part of Central African Republic, southern parts of Chad, and the far eastern parts of Nigeria. I've just read this directly from Wikipedia. That's the first problem that Eric Chinje has. He cannot actually create a country which is one which was between La République du Cameroon and Southern Cameroon. There has never been a country like that. I want to just slowly explain this. There is no country that has ever existed where Southern Cameroon and La République were together as one country alone. They were in this mixture of different countries, and that is not relevant. I'm going to explain what I'm saying here. The country you call Cameroon, the German Cameroon, has been banned. It has been banned, and the reason it was banned is because the Germans, that's after the First World War. Now, some of you are historians. Eric Chinje, it looked to me as if he's a historian. He should know that German Cameroon was banned. They took those colonies from Germany because of the First World War in the conference of is it the Conference Council of Versailles, something like that, and because of the sheer brutality of the German people. Those colonies were seized and they were disbanded. You can't belong to a disbanded country. And it was not even a country, it was a colony. They've been taken away, they've been disbanded. The issue is maybe Eric Chinje should go back and actually look at the kind of things that the Germans did. How they wipe out 80% of Namibians. One tribe in Namibia was they wipe out 80% of the population by just hanging and shooting and hanging and shooting and hanging and shooting. This is the country where Nazism was born. Okay, where they felt that the area race, the white people, were superior to the black people. This is the people that were doing that. This is the country that killed a total of 100 million Europeans in the Second World War and First World War. 100 million white people were killed by that country. The League of Nations had enough of them, and they've taken that colony, which they called the Cameroon, which was made of several countries. They took that away, and the League of Nations created for the first time the nations of, or the trust territories of Southern Cameroon and the trust territory of La Republique du Cameroon. So from what I've said to you, there is no point here at which Southern Cameroon and La Republique, just the two of them together, actually belong to a particular country. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Those two countries have never been together as just both of them. There was a massive German colony which was called the Cameroon. I'm not going to repeat myself. You heard what I said, I just read from Wikipedia. Central African Republic, Gabon, all these type of things. So I would like Eric Chinje to go to Central African Republic and say, you are part of my country. Why come on, let's go through this. Why does Eric Chinje not go to Central African Republic and claim ownership of Central African Republic? You can claim it because according to you, following that logic, you are one with them. You could go and claim part of Gabon and say, this is part of my country. You can go and claim part of Eastern Nigeria and say, this is my country. Well, if you cannot do that, then you cannot claim any part of Southern Cameroon. Do you see what I'm trying to say? If you cannot go to use your logic of we used to be one Cameroon and then go to Gabon and take part of Gabon and start a war like you're doing, then you have no right to come to Southern Cameroon and say, because we belong to this conglomerate of areas in the past, you are mine. Do you see what I'm saying? Just like somebody from Gabon cannot come to La Republique and say, La Republique is part of Gabon, so I am going to take it because we used to belong to a German colony, which has been banned. So the idea that we are from together in a country called Cameroon in a German time is basically a misconception, and it's a lie. It's a lie because that was not a country to start with. That was not just the two of us together in that place. There were many other people in it. Thirdly, that particular union that was created there by the Germans for their personal benefit was banned by the League of Nations. There is no German colony anywhere in the world. They've been banned. Go and look at anywhere you want to look at. In Africa, wherever. Okay, there is none in Africa. That era was closed because the League of Nations closed it. It banned those German colonies. They were taken away from Germany and they were given to the country of France and England. What you call trust territories were created. That is the first time a country called Southern Cameroon came to exist, when the trust territories were created. That is the first time La République came to exist, when the trust territory of La République was created. There was no La République and there was no Southern Cameroon before that. So there is no way you can say La République and Southern Cameroon were one at any point, because they never existed. Do you see what I'm saying? If you did not exist, then you cannot be together before. Southern Cameroon and La République were created, and look the way created as trust territories. They did not exist before. And at the point at which they were created, that is when they became their own independent, that's when they became countries. And trust territories, the whole idea of trust territories is for them to gain their independence. That's the whole idea of a trust territory. So the idea that Cameroon, the one with the K, we were all together in Cameroon, is a lie. We did not even exist. Okay, somebody to explain it to Eric Chinji. Southern Cameroon did not exist during that time of Cameroon, German Cameroon. La République did not exist during the time of German Cameroon. They did not exist. These are countries created by the League of Nations. Okay, and when they were created, they were not together. They didn't create La République and Southern Cameroon and put them together. No. They were created separately. God created Adam and then God created Eve. They are not one. There's a man and there's a woman. The League of Nations created Southern Cameroon. The League of Nations created La République de Cameroon. And the League of Nations created Gabon. Okay, now we were not one. That is when we were created. Anything that happens before is irrelevant because we did not exist. You see what I'm trying to say? So Eric Chinje is completely mad with this idea that we were created, we were one at the time of the German Cameroon. How can we be one when we did not even exist? Okay? So, to summarize this point, Southern Cameroon is a country, whether Eric Chinje likes it or not. It is a country because it has all the institutions of a country. That it has all the facets of a country. It has the border, it has the capital, it had the prime minister, it had the House of Parliament. It is a country. Now, I want to look at what the United Nations left when they left Southern Cameroon, because that is where there seems to be a problem. This is where our identity is getting muddled up with politics. Okay? Now, if Southern Cameroon and La République were exactly one country, then the United Nations would have left just one country and then go. Okay? But the United Nations did not leave one country. the after the plebiscite, the United Nations left West Cameroon and East Cameroon. We can dispute that at a later date, but we had West Cameroon and East Cameroon. They had their own House of Parliament. We had our own. They had their leader. We had our own. I was around during the time of West Cameroon. Okay? So what I'm saying is, it was a federation, well, a confederation. So Southern Cameroon and the Republic were not one when the UN left. The United Nations left a federation or a confederation. It was called the Federal Republic of Cameroon. That is from the UN. That is what the UN has in its record. The Federal Republic of Cameroon. Now, the union between Southern Cameroon and the Republic was not an assimilation. Again, I think Eric Chinje gets a bit muddled up here and confused. It is not an assimilation. They did not say to us, I would like to see the document, that Southern Cameroon is now part of La République du Cameroun, as it is today. And I think that's why you have a war. You have a war because La République has made Southern Cameroon their own. It is now their territory. So, if that was the case, then we will have a United Nations document, a UN document saying Southern Cameroon is the property of La République, or Southern Cameroon has become part of La République. I would like Eric Chinje to show me any document, we got all the time in the world, where Southern Cameroon became part of La République. That is the problem, isn't it? Okay. The other thing they're arguing about is, oh, we joined them. During the plebiscite, okay, let's go to the plebiscite. If we go to the plebiscite, we are missing out the most important document. You don't just do a plebiscite, I just tell people to do a plebiscite without actually showing them some of the issues that are at stake. So they had the plebiscite manifesto. All right. If you want to know about this, go and speak to Goji Dinka. He'll describe this to you. Now, if you look at the plebiscite manifesto, I will just summarize it. We were given the option of joining Nigeria or Cameroon. Correct. In Cameroon, we had a federation. In Cameroon, we control our resources. In Cameroon, we had our army, the mobile wing, as it was. In Cameroon, we had our own, we control our taxation. Okay, so, the plebiscite manifesto clearly outlines the fact that Southern Cameroon was independent and autonomous. It controlled those things I've just mentioned and more of them. I don't have all the list. Okay, resources, oil, things like that. It clearly states there that your oil is yours. That's not the point of this conversation today, but I'm just trying to say that what was left after the plebiscite was two countries in a confederation. That's what it was. Okay? The problem you have today is that plebiscite manifesto has not been followed. And if you don't follow it's common sense. It is common sense. La République is now controlling Southern Cameroon. The president is from La République. The capital is now in La République. There is no capital in Southern Cameroon. There is no government in Southern Cameroon. And Southern Cameroon don't control their resources. Southern Cameroon does not control their police force, their army, as it was outlined in the plebiscite manifesto. Southern Cameroon does not set taxes. They don't even collect any taxes. Basically, Southern Cameroon has become appended to La République, which is not what the United Nations asked for. Which therefore means that the people of Southern Cameroon have to ask, had to act to go back to the agreements in the plebiscite manifesto. They did. And La République reacted violently and killed a lot of people. I don't want to go through the history. Okay, so if La République does not want to comply with the United Nations as specified in the plebiscite and the plebiscite manifesto, then La République cannot be in a union with Southern Cameroon. So what the Southern Cameroonians are saying, we can't be in a union with you because you are not following the agreement that we had. Okay, if we buy a business together, you and me, then we decided that we are going to share the profit equally. Now, if you decide to take all the profit, then what I will do, and it's just common sense, is tell you what, I don't want to be in this business with you again. So business has collapsed. So I will walk away, which is really what Southern Cameroon is saying. We went through the plebiscite, but the conditions of that plebiscite for us to have joined you, you are not following any of it. You've now seized all the resources of Southern Cameroon. You've destroyed the government of Southern Cameroon. You've now taken over Southern Cameroon. You've now annexed Southern Cameroon. We don't even have a capital anymore. We don't have a government anymore. We don't have a prime minister anymore. You don't even recognize our border anymore. That is not the relationship that we had in the first place. Okay? So what has happened here is that somebody, which is La République, has decided that because they are bigger than Southern Cameroon, they are going to annex Southern Cameroon. This is not something which the United Nations gave them the authority to do. They've done that on their own back, which is why during this war, the United Nations has said to La République, go back to the root cause of the problem. But La République does not want to go back to the root cause of the problem because they are the one who've caused the root cause of the problem. So the last thing they want to do is to go to any root cause of the problem. They want to keep the problem going because they are benefiting from it. Do you see now? They are raking all the profit from Southern Cameroon. They are controlling all our institutions. We are paying taxes to them. And so basically, you know, they are out exploring for oil, for timber, for everything. And they are siphoning all this money and they are enjoying themselves mostly in Europe. So they don't want to go back to the root cause of the problem, which is the reason why they don't want to dialogue. They don't want to go to no Swiss dialogue because it's not going to work for them. They don't want that. Okay, so the issue is Southern Cameroon and La République are two countries that came together, but unfortunately, the terms of the coming together has been destroyed by La République. La République has illegally, unfortunately, annexed Southern Cameroon. That is not what the United Nations asked for. And that is why we have a war today. Okay, so to summarize everything that I've been talking about today is for what Mr. Kerichinje is saying, we are not together. We were not together in one country called Cameroon in the past. And the reason for that is that we did not exist. There was no Southern Cameroon. There was no La République. So we couldn't have been together in the German Cameroon. Okay? Because first of all, the German Cameroon was banned by the League of Nations. So it didn't, you have to say it didn't exist. It has been banned by the League of Nations. Two, during the time of German Cameroon, there was no La République du Cameroun and Southern Cameroon. So we did not exist. Okay? It was just a big area. So trying to tie us together and say that it's part of German Cameroon is completely wrong. All right? Southern Cameroon is a country because it's got all the institutions, all the instruments that make it a country. a capital, a border, a territorial border, a government, a prime minister. It's got all those things, or it had all those things, so it makes it a country. The fact that you are in a union with somebody does not mean you cease to be a country. Since La République has not followed the terms of that union and they have decided to annex Southern Cameroon instead, the Southern Cameroon have a right now to walk away from the union and stand by themselves. This is Critical Information Bureau coming from All England. Eyon Akombe speaking. Until next time, stay safe.